Good evening, freedom fighters. It is 10:23 p.m. East Coast time, July 29th, 2025. Incredible energizing of our atmosphere with 5G HARP towers, they call cell phone towers, that are massive. Next, rad radar systems that puts out incredible amount of energy, like microwave energies, microwaving our sky to produce rain. I don't know how else to put it, but we'll slow down some of this energy. You can see how it's being used to manipulate the weather. I'm going to bump it along. You can see all the cell phone towers pinging everywhere. Cedar Key, Florida, all over the state of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. Here in the photo, you will see cell phone towers pinging from every single state. These are not birds leaving the towers, as our lion actor, so-called weathermen, are telling you. They say it's ice in the sky. I say it's chemicals. They say these are just bugs and birds. It's not. It's electronics controlling our weather, energizing our atmosphere. Watch it play out. Incredible fires today that is going off in parts of the United States. An 8.7 earthquake off the coast of Russia today, just a few minutes ago, a couple hours ago, whatever it is. I'm not sure the time. I just got a report of it. Massive energy, as you can see, play out. Microwave beams igniting storms all over the place, especially here in Florida at my buddy's house. He reported to me. Incredible lightning. Energy coming from South Carolina creating rain in Florida. This is how crazy this information I'm about to show you is. But let's move on to their patents on all of this equipment. Intelligent systems for weather modification. Florida just passed a bill this month to stop these modifications of our state. Cloud seeding by Cessnas is a joke. They're doing it with giant aircraft. It's incredible heights where you can't even see the aircraft. NEXRADs are using energy, weather controlling satellites. All of this data is here. I mean, and it's active. Status is active. These are active, ongoing weather modification programs. Moving on. This one here, if you put it on Facebook, it will give you a fact checker in a quick heartbeat. It says it doesn't mean they can't, but they absolutely do. It says it's abandoned. It does not abandon. Fictitious. This is not abandoned whatsoever. These are your direct energy weapons. The beams that we are seeing in this radar system is these beams here. Florida had a bill put in place this year to stop weather modification. Tennessee put in one last year. It did no good. We cannot stop these people. It needs to be, everybody needs to get on board here. I tell my friends about this stuff and they look at me like I'm talking about unicorns. These technologies are not hidden, but it is hidden from the public. They don't look for it. They don't want to know the truth. That scares me more about these people than I ever dreamed that could happen. What happened to my warrior friends? Moving on. As of right now, darkness is rolling across the Pacific. Major storms all the way across. This one here looks major, but it's not. Symmetrical though. Very pretty. But incredible fires going right this minute. Let's back it up a couple hours. I wanted to go over that before I let y'all go. Very glitchy system. But the Grand Canyon is burning again. I guess they're just going to burn it to the ground. I didn't know they could burn the desert. Pretty green in that area, but I don't know why it's so green. It's had so much rainfall. Whoa, California. I didn't realize that. Massive geoengineering static aerosol injection taking place over California this evening. Very distinct lines. Started in the, not a line at daybreak. That was probably about noon their time. Only 3 hours difference, mate. What even then? That was a quick one there. Sorry for being so raw. I hadn't even noticed that. But massive fires in Utah and Arizona. Small one in Nevada. 14 million acres of Canada has been scorched. Back it up a little bit more. I see fires in Texas. Pretty decent fire in Texas taking place. The genocide of the people. A little at a time, though, huh? Barely noticed it. Kind of like a spouse slowly poisoning their so-called loved ones. They don't love us, though, do they? Massive earthquake here. Let me see anything else I wanted to go over before I let y'all go. It's just a little short video. Incredible smoke. Technologies. Oh, let me put something in perspective here. Hang on. Incredible temperatures. Right now it's 86 in Tampa, it says, but it's 87 here with a heat index of 100. And how they create all this heat is by pushing this incredible amount of hot air up on us. Same thing as what's going up through Texas and Phoenix. Incredible amount of air coming out of Mexico and the Caribbean. Superheating our water for their fuel for their storms they need, I guess. And they create chaos. They're climate change. You know, they'll get all the money and funding they want to block out the sun. 115-degree heat index. I want them to block out the sun too. 88 in Spokane. That seems a little warm. I don't really know. Moving on. Okay, I found an unusual article I want to go over. And I keep bringing Titanic up because I really believe that's the start where we lost our country. But no physical way an iceberg could ever make it to where the Titanic is. You know what I mean? It's right here. No physical way an iceberg could ever get here. But look at these articles. It claims the Titanic wasn't sunk. That it was all the passengers survived. Check this out. Newspaper article from that week. Okay, here's where it's supposedly at. Like I said, there's no way an iceberg came this far into the Gulf Stream ever. Never has, never will. Okay, I want y'all to look at this. This is from Vancouver. Titanic sinking, no lives lost. This is on April 15th. And it was funny when I looked up how much the insurance was for the Titanic. It says it's $1 million. But there's a newspaper article here also from this week. Almost looks like the 13th, but might be the 15th. But Titanic sinking, no lives lost. Okay, that no big deal. That was just one newspaper article. And here's another completely different news company. Not sure where this one's from. The latest edition here. Okay, iceberg. Supposedly still keeping with the icebergs. 1470 passengers are safe. Look at giant ocean liner still afloat. Two ships at her side, the Olympia and the Baltic. Actually names the ships, and it also names the ship towing it. You know, when I look at the LiDAR images of the Titanic, the back half is blown to smithereens. It didn't break in half, it was blown to pieces, in my opinion. She was loaded with dynamite. That's why the boilers are on the ground. They didn't blow up, they were separated from the ship, is what it appeared to me. I think it was bombs. But two ships by her side, the Olympic and the Baltic. And it actually tows it says the ship towing her too. Returning. Girls bleed his deaths on the street. That's terrible. Somewhere it was telling me which ship was towing it. Hang on. Correct, right here. The world's biggest ship reported in bad shape after a collision at night, now being towed back to Halifax, or towed to Halifax by Allen Liner, Virginian. So it was another ocean liner towing it back. Once they, I'm curious in my mind that they were acting like they were towing it. Everybody survived. Everybody we think died was never there. It didn't happen. They spoon fed us the history. If I had somebody that was there, they never heard any of this. You know, I wish I could ask my grandpa what he thought about it. He was born in 1916. Even this is before his time. It only takes a generation to change history. But from what this says, that everybody survived. So, what would happen to the people like Strauss and all that was against the Federal Reserve? I don't know if we ever know the truth about anything. I don't know if any of these newspaper articles are real. I tried to find more perfect things on it, but they seem very legit when I go to the articles where I get them, you know. I don't know. This pulling strings here, my friends. History has been spoon fed for us, but these articles blew me away when I read it last night. I was blown away by this. World's biggest ship. Was it the biggest ship? I think it was, correct? See, we've always heard it called the unsinkable ship. See, they're not talking about that. But I did see she cannot sink here. Says officials of White Star Line. She cannot sink. So they're claiming right here she cannot sink. But she could be blown in two, which seems to be more accurate. See, here this picture seems fake to me a little bit, only because it looks like it's on anchor. And it says it's got collision. Well, you're not anchoring in the Atlantic Ocean no matter what. They could be towing her by her anchor, but that's a small tug for what her in port looks like. I would imagine this is a burn hole or something, but it looks like a collision hole too. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get a lot right here. Anyhow, I just want to leave that with y'all. Food for thought. Our ocean currents is also another reason I can prove that our Earth is a spinning ball. We would not have all these beautiful currents. I fish these currents, my friends, all the way up here. Deep canyons. Very warm water, too, right there. You can see it in the temperature. Very warm, swift currents that would never allow an iceberg that far south. And if you were coming across from there, like I said, you would get underneath this current. Sailing ships would go along it and come underneath it when they come back to the United States. Why would you bug that kind of current? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Because they wasn't in it. There was no iceberg. Commercial Fisherman standing by. Hope y'all realize that I know more about this planet than they ever allow you to learn. Commercial Fisherman out.